This is the first time she's ever been on a Missoula stage. She's the only one performing tonight. Let's hear it for Miss DJ, are you ready? Caitlin Sutton, here we go, yeah!
Hey everyone. Ready for some lady loving? So I've really wanted to get this trend started. I think Missoula's kind of quirky, so I think it might work here. It's something I like to call vertical cleavage. You know, not all of us are blessed to have a nice rack. So I'd like to get to walk up to a bar with a little glitter on my sternum, and I'd like to get my choice of free drinks. You know, but cleavage gets to have all the fun. I'm not going to say, I have a nice backside, but what is that going to do me? Hey.
Woo!
Can I get a drink? No, because that's weird. Nobody wants to see that. How else am I supposed to get a drink? With my charm? No, unlikely. Pay for them? Not a chance. I'd like to actually go up to a man and try to seduce him with my sternum. Be like, hey, what's your name? Want to buy me a drink? And he's like, dear Jesus, who's this girl? Like, what's wrong with her eyes? What's wrong with her face? Like, what's going on here? And the real kicker is if some guy was like, girl, I don't know what you're doing, but it's hot. Want to hang out? I'm like, dear God, I'm not a piece of meat. I'm not really good at catching on to people that are hitting on me. It's like, I can't tell you how many times people have been like, oh my God, you have a really great smile. And I'm like, thanks, I just got my braces off. Which I did. So thank you. Thanks, Dr. Yeager. Or they're like, hey girl, I saw you out on the dance floor, you're looking pretty sexy. And I'm like, oh yeah, I was just like trying to wiggle out my wedgie with nobody noticing. Sometimes I just like to mess with guys. Like, I was at Stocks the other night, a real great place to go to meet people. And this guy of Middle Eastern descent came up to me. I don't want to be racist, but they're always the ones that grab my ass and are like, grab it, and they're like, oh my God, there's really something interesting on the ceiling. So he comes up and sits to me, and I'm always like, sits next to me. I'm a little skeptical already, so I do a little Kansas City flop with my ring. And he's like, what are you guys up to tonight? And I'm like, oh my God, I just got engaged, we're celebrating! And he does a total 180. He was like, oh my God, tell me all about it. He's like, how did you guys meet? I was like, well, we were in biology class and he spit a spit wad on my face that said, I love you. It's been love ever since. And he was like, that is so sweet. Oh my God. And I was like, geez, not phased, all right. He keeps asking me questions about my wedding and I keep giving him bigger lies. He's like, oh, well, what are you doing with your dress and everything? And I was like, well, I'm gonna have butterflies. Take my veil all the way down the aisle. And he was like, wow, that's so great! So I was excited. I was like, Jesus Christ. And he keeps giving me ideas for my wedding, and by the end of the time, he's like, you guys should go to Hawaii. It's gonna be so great. You guys can do all these things on your honeymoon. I'm like, bro, I know what I'm gonna do on my honeymoon. Jesus. And by the end of the conversation, he still asked me for my number. I was like, really? Really? Like, that's not how you pick up a girl. Like, she's getting married. Leave her alone. I was a wonder, like, what guys did in, like, the olden days when they're trying to pick up girls, like some guy rides up on his donkey. Hey girl, what's she doing? So, I'm just carrying my basket of fruit. And he's like, girl, I didn't invent agriculture just to plow your field. You get to the 1920s, they're like, got this guy leaning up against his car. He's like, hey doll, I'd like to see you shimmy and shake all the way down to my bedroom. So, oh, yeah. You get to the 30s and you got the guy with his cigar and he's like, see, look at that girl, those gams and that flapper. Woo! At least they were creative. All the other times it's like, hey girl, I think you have a really nice ass. Girl, I like the way you walk. Thanks, I guess. I practice a lot. Some guy comes up to me and like, hey girl, I'd like to see you come over here and see me the bad jive on the backhand side. I'd be like, I don't know what the fuck that means, but let's go.